Okay, this is the new Redmi 15 5G. Now, this is a very important phone for Xiaomi in India. Like, whenever you hear about Redmi number series phone, that one thing that immediately clicks my mind is flash sales. Like, the Redmi Note series was so good, it used to go out of stock within minutes. The Redmi Note series charm was different, but now there are a lot of players in the market competing with the Redmi Note series and the market is now different. So this base Redmi series has turned out to be another hero for Redmi. So for 2025, this is the latest Redmi 15 5G. Now Xiaomi is majorly focusing on bringing back the buzz around in that budget 15,000 range. And around at that price, you're getting a 7000 mAh battery, up to 144Hz refresh rate display, 50 megapixel main camera. But we have seen just putting a bigger 7000 mAh battery doesn't get you better battery life. So we drained it and compared it against other 7000 mAh phones, and the answer is very interesting. So the main question is, how good is this phone? Is Xiaomi finally back in India, or is there still a catch? Well, we'll tell you all of that. So TechWiser, let's effing go. Now, of course, you get this box, and I'm not gonna tell you that you get a case, 33-watt charger inside the box. Like, I expect every brand to give all of this in the budget range, so it's here. That's a big plus. Now, before we talk about things that could have been better, let's talk about the things that I liked. And the first thing that we liked is the design. Like, the moment you hold the phone, it feels big, like really big. And apart from this, the only big phone I have used extensively is the S25 Ultra. But in spite of having a much larger battery than the S25 Ultra, this one feels almost identical in thickness and weight. Plus, there's not a lot of camera bump. Also, the edges here at the back is slightly curved, so it feels a bit comfortable to hold. And speaking of the back, it comes in this frosted white color, which has a very different pattern depending on where the light falls on it. The back here is made up of polycarbonate, but it has a matte finish. So it feels really good in the hands. Rest, the whole phone is IP64 rated, so it can survive those accidental drop into the sink because you just watch something on Reels which is jaw-dropping. You also get this IR blaster on the top, which you can use to control your appliances like TV, AC, etc. By the way, this video is made in collaboration with Xiaomi, and we'll be talking more about the specs and features of the phone. Now, the second thing which I liked is the battery. It comes with a massive 7000 mAh silicon carbon battery. Now, Xiaomi calls it an EV grade silicon carbon battery. So technically, this is the first phone with a 7000 mAh silicon carbon battery in this price range. And silicon carbon battery phones are getting a lot of mixed reactions. Some get good battery life, some get really less. Like, there are many brands with 7000 mAh battery. So just to compare, there is Oppo K13 and Neo 10, which also has 7000 mAh battery. Charged them to 100% and then started draining the battery. First, we ran Antutu on all the phones for around an hour, and after 1 hour, the Redmi 15 was at 96%. Oppo was at 95%, while Neo 10 already dropped to 87%. After that, we started recording at 1080p on all the phones, and after 2 hours, the Redmi was at 86%, Oppo was at 85%, while Neo 10 was at 74%. So clearly, optimization matters. So we daily drove this phone, and this is the screen on time we got, and this was entire time on 5G. So it's safe to say that you will get around 8 to 9 hours of screen on time. And speaking of the charging, it comes with a 33-watt charger inside the box and takes around 1.5 hours to go from 5 to 100%. Also, it supports up to 18-watt reverse charging. So here's the thing. Silicon carbon is a new battery tech. Not all 7000 mAh battery perform the same. The battery mAh sounds big, but brands need to optimize it better. And the third thing that we liked is the camera. So it comes with a 50 megapixel main camera without OIS, and this rests on this metallic camera island. Xiaomi likes to call this aerospace grade metal camera deco. Names. And in good lighting condition, it takes good photos with good colors. Also, overall the picture is closer to natural, and this is how you see it in real life. Now, the portrait photos also come out good. The background blur and everything is good for the price. Now, it only supports portrait at 1x. You cannot crop it to 2x. So you'll have to go physically closer to the person to take close-up portraits. However, do note that it lacks OIS, so even a slight shake in low light condition result in blurry images. It also has an 8 megapixel front selfie camera, and again, it takes decent photos, as you can see. Now, those were the good things. Let's talk about something that I think could have been better. And first is the display. It comes with a 6.9-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD display. It supports up to 144Hz refresh rate. Now, the 144Hz refresh rate is limited to just few apps. And speaking of the display quality, it's quite good for an LCD. Like, I was watching this movie called Lucky Bhaskar, and the overall video quality is good. Now, obviously, this isn't an AMOLED, so the black hairs look slightly grayish, but again, for an IPS LCD screen, I'm not really complaining. Apart from that, it has a peak brightness of around 850 nits, which is decent for outdoor usage. Now, one problem I have with that is it cannot record or run 4K videos, which is due to the processor. Which brings me to the performance. It comes with Snapdragon 6s Gen 3 processor. It comes with 6 or 8 GB of LPDDR4X RAM with 128 or 256 GB of UFS 2.2 storage. Now on AnTuTu, it scores 4.6 lakh. We also ran CPU throttling test and the graph here is all green. So if you see the benchmark numbers, it's kind of average for the price. Normal stuff like scrolling through reels and reading articles, it can handle all of that light task with ease. Also in terms of gaming, in BGMI, it supports only 40 FPS. So for 40 FPS, the gameplay is really smooth. Now I usually play with sensitivity on all the time, but for some strange reason it doesn't support that feature, and initially I thought that it's a bug or something, but then I checked in the sensor test app, there's no gyroscope. So the processor is good for decent tasks, your day-to-day usage or casual BGMI. That's about it. Now before moving to the conclusion, let's quickly talk about the software. It runs on HyperOS 2 with Android 15 out of the box. It will receive 2 years of OS update with 4 years of security updates. Now speaking of the software itself, the experience here is decent. You get some AI features in the gallery like AI erase, AI bokeh, which lets you add background blur in any photo. You can also choose between multiple effects. You can also adjust the blur. Now, this one's my favorite. There's even a sky mode which lets you change the sky of any picture. And if you see, it blends really well. It changes the lighting. Looks good. Apart from that, you get Gemini and even Circle to search. However, there are some things that you need to know. First of all, there is no app opening and closing animation. And you also get some pre-installed apps which you can do this, and uninstall. Now in terms of sensor, this is the list of sensors that you get. There's a virtual proximity sensor like any other Xiaomi phone. Now the Redmi 15 5G starts at 14,999 for the base variant, and at that price point, I would say the phone is quite decent. By the way, we're thinking of making a video of best smartphone under 15,000. So should we do that, or should we just do best budget smartphone from 5,000 all the way to 15,000? Let us know in the comments. On that note, this is Tari signing off. See you in the next video. Pew pew pew.